the only Cuban pirate. We had only one Cuban pirate that was second in command for Francis Drake. So Francis Drake was the leader, and then the Cuban guy, Mr. Diego, was the second. It's very hard to get, although now you can sell and buy houses since 2012. First of all, these houses on the right side were given to the Batista's soldiers. So the former president, BC, before Castro, the former president built what they accept. Otherwise you pay more. But if you're Cuban, then you have a paperwork, something that will justify that you're Cuban, and then you can bring 220 pounds each. Sometimes when the airplane, this situation, because ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts, there's 240% tax implicit in, from mayonnaise to ketchup to flat screen TVs. This time you came in a boat. If you came before, some of you perhaps did, or you come later, you can tell all the Cubans bringing as much as possible, because it's much better rather than to buy it here, including what I mentioned already, the import. Now we're going to drive on the very popular ocean drive known as Malecon. Be careful with the pronunciation. Right? Yes, I'm not going to go deeply into the subject, but it's Malecon here, the sea wall, right? Yeah, the sea wall. See this part of the wall on the right side, it's almost brand new. This was destroyed by Katrina. We suffered of the side effects of, of course, I don't have to tell you, the horrible storm that affected New Orleans, Louisiana. So here we had the side effects, having like a tsunami, and then the wall was destroyed. Part of the Malecon, as I mentioned, it was built in 5 stages from 1900 to 1959. I was explaining about the 12% and 80%. To your left, we have the equestrian monument of Antonio Maceo, in this case Cuban, fighting the Spanish. Also back there, the Immaculate Conception Church. Of course, to your left, on the right is just water. Now we can go to church. In front of you, me, I was a victim of that period. My grandmother had to baptize me in the bathroom, because that time Castro was even more strict, and he didn't like any of these groups, including the Freemasons, that is not a religion, but it's a group of people. Remember the expression divide and conquer, right? So my grandmother had to secretly baptize me in the bathroom. Now we're back to normal. On the left we have the known National Hotel. Perhaps some of you will come tonight to the Parisian, if you book the Parisian Cabaret. This is the National Hotel. That beautiful building to your left, eclectic with 2 Art Deco towers, and built in only 14 months, in 1930. Picture the year, right? In only 14 months. It was the headquarters for the mafia. Here to your left, start seeing the cannons. The cannons original from the Maine, from the Maine ship. Remember the Maine, 1898. So that's a way to pay homage to the victim, 1961, all right? But as long as you see the flag, it was really a nightmare to restart, right? Diplomatic relations in 2015. So as long as you see the flag, it means there's always a possibility of overnight bringing back the officials that were taken away in September last year. So then, of course, we'll be back to work, back to normal. As I was saying, in 1961, in January, Cuba, Castro broke relations with the U.S., and then for all these years until the 1970s, late 70s, Jimmy Carter started and using, of course, the building that belongs to you as the U.S. intersection, right? U.S. interest section. But it was until 2015 that again Cuba established diplomatic relations with the U.S. And that took away the flag in 1961, January, were the same ones that brought it back. Huh? What a story! It was unbelievable that they survived, to see that that moment that actually they promised and swore to bring it back themselves. So we left Old Havana, we left also Central Havana. As I said before, the city is getting younger, right? So this is an area, the Future Hotel to your left, an area that nothing was built before 1900. Okay, so everything you're going to see now here was built after 1900. They included the high rises. The high rises are from the 1950s. As I mentioned, only 8% has been built after 1959. We have seen only one building, the hospital that I pointed out, was built after 1959, and that Cuban Walmart to your left. So that's a place there with the dark glasses that is a 240% tax. So as you see, the Cohiba Hotel to your left is also part of the new construction, but not this one here to your left. Look, the Bubble was a casino, and the Riviera Hotel was the first and the last for Las Vegas. So the plan of Las Vegas was here in Havana. Of course, picture the year 1957. They did not have time enough, to continue the plan of building more hotels and casinos and shopping malls, all these to your left. It's a former Havana tennis club. They're now playing their baseball. The children, it's actually a softball field, and this one here is a baseball field. All right, but they're using the baseball field for the children. This is the last part of the seawall, and the mouth of the Almendares River was the first aqueduct in the Americas. That tower, watchtower to your right, can be considered like fort number 7. Actually, we don't include that watchtower in the 6 forts that we mentioned that Havana has. All right, there were 3 forts built before the British invasion, before Havana was British, and then when Spain recovered Havana, there were 3 more built. We already went through a tunnel, right? This is the second one. It's not the same, all right? In this case, it's a river that we have on top. Attention, New York, to your left. That fountain was brought from New York. Remember, we like to exaggerate. I mentioned that at the beginning. To your left, don't miss this house. Look at that. That's the only German Renaissance house in this area that if you know any Cubans, then I'm sure you do, tell them that you were in Miramar. Yeah, the car wash. In Miramar neighborhood. And then I'm sure that most of them will be very surprised. So if you take pictures, you can take pictures back to them. It might even coincide with perhaps one of the houses they owned. It might coincide because most of the people in this area were the ones that left Cuba. They could not, of course, continue their businesses with Castro's regime. So tell them you were in Miramar, and they will go, oh, this is like the fancy, posh area. You can tell. Compare what you saw before, all these houses sharing walls and like one on top of the other. Used to be the money. Remember that nowadays, this society, if you are like important, money is not really what matters. Why? Because then you're going to get everything from the government. You know what I mean? If you need a car, they give you a car. If you need a boat, they give you a boat. If you need to travel, they'll give you the money to travel. That's why now it's not the money. It's just the influence that you have in the government. So remember what I mentioned at once, were able to get these houses. So just to summarize, this is a way to understand why this never-ending story is going on almost forever. Why? Because it's a way to understand how people, the Cuban Americans, feel about the government. Because if you take a house like this from me, I will never talk to you again. All right, or that way around. You will never talk to me again. So that's the reason why there's still this conflict. It's not so much the governments, because as you know, they have been like medium good, bad on both sides, and then it's not the government. It's just this situation that people, of course, cannot forgive. Let me show you here on the right side a house. No, we're going to pass it right now. If you're going to Tropicana tonight, you should know this house here, even compared to the place that we visited before, where the club was, a tennis club, and the high rises that was known as Vedado. So this area is even newer. So in this part of Havana, there's nothing older than 1930. Everything was built mostly from 1930 to 1959. Remember, we mentioned that 80% of the city was built between 1900 and 1959. So not only the houses are better, including the distance, privacy, space between one house and the other, but also cars. In this area, you're going to see more new cars. Why? Because also most of the foreigners that are investing in Cuba live in this area. You cannot buy, all right? You cannot buy as a foreigner, but you rent. So far, Cuba does not sell. The government Cuban does not authorize Cubans to sell houses to foreigners. That is a pity. Otherwise, in my opinion, they could sell much more than what people sell nowadays. Remember that only since 2012 is when we can sell. Before, it was your house. 94% of Cubans own their houses, 94%, but you're stuck. No, now you can sell it, but to another Cuban person. So now you're going to be very surprised to see a building very close to the National Aquarium. The National Aquarium, they escaped in one of the storms. You see? There's no fish. So one of the tanks there, there's no fish. Look at that tower. If you saw the film, the Tower Inferno. Remember the film? The Tower Inferno or the Transformer. That's the Russian embassy. That I also remember that the machines and the roller coaster, for example, were in bad condition. I remember that they used to pay you $1 to try the roller coaster, because nobody wanted to try the roller coaster. It was in so bad condition, almost about to fall, collapse. It was an old 1940s roller coaster. So all that disappeared. So there's not even a piece left. I remember to the right side. I remember this was the original entrance. Look, on the right side. It was built in 1928, and that was the Havana Yacht Club. Look at the condition. No? Nowadays, not very nice for the history of the building. You know, before 1959 there was a lot of gambling in Cuba, so in Havana on the left side we had the dog track. There was a dog track. And Havana was also very well known for the racetrack. We had an excellent, that is not in this area, but my father, rest in peace, grew up very close to the racetrack, and he used to sneak in without paying when he was a child. The family didn't have the money, you know, in the world, because you have not seen one Coca-Cola, one Sears, one KFC, you know what I mean? So it's like being in another place in the world, far from the world, like in Mars or in Jupiter. Perhaps the only place similar will be North Korea, right? Similar to this country. So this area here, heading to this place that we promised to enjoy this neighborhood and explore. I'll give you some minutes to walk around the neighborhood to see all this work by artist Jose Fuster. So still this area, it's really a privilege for anybody to live. Even the temperature in this side of Havana is 2 degrees cooler compared to the old city and also other places that is not the old city, but they have similar architecture. And here to your left, you don't see the house, but you see the entrance, right? Here is where, in that direction to your left, behind those trees, he had 6 greenhouses, also a big area for fruit trees. Every member of the family had a cow, so they drank milk directly from a specific cow. They have had numbers. For example, Castro's number was number 5. Since he liked basketball, his number was number 5, so he wanted number. And well, as I said, it's one of the 20-something houses or so that he owned, living with his last wife and 5 children. In total, he had 9 children. 8 boys, 1 girl. So welcome to Fusterland. So this is a place I'll give you some free time. Then on the way back, we just have one visit. Will be the Revolution Square. All right, and then we'll go back to the boat. Okay. So here I'll give you plenty around. Now it's 5 o'clock. 5:20. 5:20. The bus, if not parked here.